Hi, I would like to close out my discussions on this topic, what ails OFDMA. Part 1 and Part 2, I've given details in the notes section. My name is Shrikant and I'm with NanoCell Networks. So we've discussed that there are challenges with realizing the benefits of OFDMA. So is there any feature in the Wi-Fi 6 or 802.11ax standard which can probably help us? And the answer is yes. There is a feature called Multiuser EDICA, which can help in biasing certain users' transactions towards trigger-based uplink transmissions. So MU EDCA works roughly like this. When an AP schedules a particular user, those QoS access categories which the user has used in, their access parameters on the uplink for SU transmission by the stations can be biased to a value such that a trigger could come in before or could have a priority before their SU transmissions. So this would allow us to do more triggered uplink transmissions, which could result in some benefits. But there are lots of nitty-gritties in MUADCA, and so one has to wait and see first as to when this will really make a benefit. Okay, maybe in 6 gigahertz with only Wi-Fi 6 and maybe with some other controls put in, at least in some private sort of networks, we could see some benefits. Okay, I'm not expecting that all the clients are going to support this, etc. That's why I'm a little cautious about whether it can support, because you can bias those EDCA parameters towards trigger frame getting a priority as compared to the normal SU transmissions. Fundamental question still remains that 11AX scheduling has become exceedingly complex if we have to realize the benefits of OFDMA or multi-user MIMO. Whether it is downlink or uplink, the choosing the right mode will become important. In fact, it might not be right to ask the question as to whether OFDMA or MU-MIMO has been used. Have they been used intelligently would be the right question to be asked, in my opinion. Okay, because if you use it as a default, you can get, remember, worse performance compared to a simple SU case, and we don't want to be doing that when we have a very complex AP, and also remember a relatively complex client unit, especially because uplink MU transmissions require some extra work. So we really don't want to be using these features for the heck of it. We want them to really provide benefits. And for that, I think the scheduler becomes extremely critical. And so all our tests and performance evaluation should really try and exercise whether the scheduler is really going on the right track rather than whether we are seeing this being used. Okay. So that would be how we would see. And as I've said, maybe we will first get it right on the downlink and then slowly on the uplink. Challenges I've documented in part 1 and part 2. So are we stuck with OFDMA and the scheduling problem? Do we see any other advantages of OFDMA? And the quick answer is yes. As we move ahead on our Wi-Fi journey towards Wi-Fi 7, what 11BE or Wi-Fi 7 is looking ahead is potentially use of large bandwidths, but there they don't want to limit the communications only to the new generation. They want to mix generations in the same transmission. As you can see, this is the next generation Wi-Fi 7 called EHT. It can, in the same larger bandwidth, also have a HE and possibly something in the future when that happens. Okay. Now, how could this be possible? OFDMA is the key technique which makes this possible, because OFDMA allows us to split bandwidths. And remember that in the EHT days, knowing that HE can support OFDMA, we're going to carve out some bandwidth for a potential HE along with the EHT, and then maybe sometime in the future another standard. Okay. So this is the first instance, and remember that this is always borne by the fact that when we introduce Wi-Fi 7, Wi-Fi 6 is going to be around. So if only we can accommodate it in the same transmission, a larger bandwidth, which again in 6 gigahertz could become handy, right? We should be able to have a better, you can say, coexistence amongst the generations. So I'm expecting that the OFDMA benefits, or the OFDMA technique, which was originally thought for only high density short frames, now comes in handy for some futuristic better use of the 6 gigahertz bandwidth when we mix legacy. Okay. This feature is tentatively touted as aggregate PPDU. It's not going to come in the first probably versions of the products, but it's an idea which is very much put in place in the draft one. So we should find it at some stage of the Wi-Fi 7 evolution. So hopefully this series on OFDMA has helped us cover multiple facts, and we will add more information as we get some results in the various public domain reports. Thank you. For more information, please visit our website. We also offer courses through Wi-Fi Now Academy. Thank you.